Thank you. Let me begin by thanking all of you here in D.C. for coming out this evening. Much appreciated. Let me thank C-SPAN for covering this event. Let me also thank everyone who is watching via live stream. As we enter the new year, as Congress begins its legislative session next week, and as we have just finished celebrating the birthday of Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr., one of the great fighters for justice in our nation's history, it is appropriate, it seems to me, that we ask ourselves two very simple questions which are not asked very often. Question one, what is everyday life like today for the vast majority of our people? And that is the working class of this country, the middle class of this country, and lower income Americans. What are the pains, what are the struggles and the hopes that these millions and millions of people are striving for? Of course, that's question one. Question two, what is Congress going to do to improve life for working families? In the year 2023, amidst an explosion of technology, massive wealth creation, and transformational economic change, how can we make certain that all Americans have the decent standard of living to which they are entitled? Is that a utopian question? Is that pie in the sky? Or is that something that we can actually accomplish if we put our minds to it? And I think we can. Now you might think that these very basic and simple questions are discussed often on the floor of the Senate or the House of Representatives or in the corporate media. Well, if you thought that, you would be wrong. For a wide variety of reasons, significantly having to do with money in politics and corporate ownership of the media, these are topics that are far too rarely discussed. We almost never really hear serious discussion about them. And that's the purpose of my remarks tonight, and the kind of discussion I hope these remarks stimulate. Members of Congress and Americans can disagree politically and philosophically as to where we may want to go in the years to come. But it is imperative that we acknowledge the reality of today, where we are as a country today, and not run away from that reality. And to my mind, the most important economic and political realities now facing this country are the following. A, capital A, the long-term decline of the American middle class. This decline is not a new occurrence. It didn't start, certainly, in President Biden's administration or in the years of Donald Trump. This decline has been going on for 50 years. And we have got to ask why, and we've got to end that decline. Second point that we don't discuss enough is the unprecedented and obscene level of income and wealth inequality that currently exists. And here is the sad reality. and that is that never before in our history have we seen so few own so much as we see today. We've got to put that issue on the table and end that reality. Third point that we don't discuss, and that is the rapidly growing concentration of ownership within our economy. In sector after sector, a handful of giant corporations control what is produced and how much we pay for their products. And by the way, when you talk about inflation, that has a hell of a lot to do with this concentration of ownership. Fourth point, and that is the incredible and dangerous power that billionaires have over our political system. We can hardly be called a vibrant democracy when a handful of the wealthiest people in this country can spend hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars to elect the candidates they like. That is not democracy. And fifth point, putting it all together, and something we certainly don't discuss in Congress and certainly not in the corporate media, and that is that what we are witnessing now in this country is the rapid evolution of our society into an oligarchy in which the billionaire class has enormous and growing control over the economic and political life of this country. That is the reality, and that's a reality we must confront. Now it is very easy for politicians to look at Vladimir Putin's Russia and talk about the oligarchy over there. That's certainly true. But the time is long overdue for us to start paying attention to the oligarchy in the United States of America. When we talk about what's going on in our country, let us start off by taking a hard look at the state of our economy. And what you will find is that the economy is doing extraordinarily well. It's doing fantastically for the people on top, for the billionaire class. Unfortunately, the economy is not doing so well for the working class of our country when we have tens of millions of families falling further and further behind as they struggle to pay their bills, take care of their kids, and put food on the table. The gross unfairness and the ugliness and the cruelness of our current economy can be seen in stark terms when we look at how the working class and the billionaire class have made out during the horrible pandemic we have experienced. On one hand, tens of thousands of American workers died going to their jobs during the worst public health crisis in modern American history. These extraordinarily brave people got up and they went to work. They did their jobs. And they were nurses. We've lost thousands and thousands of nurses treating us during the pandemic. They are bus drivers. They are meatpacking workers. They are EMT staff. They are cops. They're firemen. They're teachers. They're grocery store workers. And there are many, many others who went out and did what they had to do. And many of them lost their lives, and others became seriously ill. That's what happened to working